I had a last minute thing. It tells me my current resolution is all wrong, which is not. Something or other, more info. Check the video resolution. Current resolution is 128720, which is not optimal. Well, I hope it's optimal for you. It's a bit tricky. Does this look all right? Please let me know. So there's always kind of weird things going on with this. I think I played with something. It's too difficult to change anything on here now, I think. Cameras, overlay. So I'm just doing this kind of little bit before. It's working. Thanks, all great. There we are. Good. And so what I'm going to do, what I kind of discovered is what I can do is I can do a little bit of preamble like this while I get everything sorted, check that I got microphones working, and then I can go to the intro, and then I will come into the show, and then I can edit that bit out, which is going to put people off when they first come to the thing. So shall I do that, you see, so I can go... And then I can say, hey there, Shooby Doodlers, how are you doing? And welcome to Shoe Rainer Drawing Show. And it's Friday the 7th of February, 2020. I suppose I ought to put that because some people might be watching this in sort of 2033 if YouTube is still going. So we've got lots of people coming in here now going, it's working, thank you, looking good. A few made it, says Sesh Jaws. Okay, looks spot on, sound too good, thank you. Everyone says it all looks good. It all looks good. Sounds good. Guten Abend, teacher, champion of drawing. Yeah. So there we are. That's Carolyn. Thank you in Germany. Guten Abend to you. And yes, I have been struggling the past few years trying to think what is it I'm actually trying to do, and I think I've finally come to it. It's like you know these businesses they spend millions. Coming up with mission statements and things like that, and it's because I do so many things I really want to clarify what I do because I do too many things, I think, actually. So so this week I decided I'm going to call myself Teacher and Champion of Drawing. And in fact, having been talking to my patrons about this, you can join me on Patreon. I'll put a link up here. I'll put a link up here somewhere. Where is it? If I look out that way, it'll be up there. And I've been talking to them, and I think maybe I might even cut out the teacher bit because as I've been telling them for years, I have trouble with the word teacher because it kind of implies, I feel it implies a lot of sort of pastoral care, which if you're doing something like being online to thousands of people, hopefully, it's very difficult to have a sort of individual pastoral care for each one person. But champion of drawing, I think I can go with that rather than drawing champion, because that would mean I'd have to have a cup and with my name engraved on the front of it, saying that I won some kind of competition. But champion of drawing means that it's sort of like Tryon Lord here, who's very, very into the ancient Greeks and things, being a champion, standing up, being the person who fights for drawing and sort of talks about drawing and pushes drawing and sort of promotes drawing. That's kind of, I think that's what I'm going to be. So yes, there we are. Guten Abend indeed. Can I borrow someone's pencil? Says Oggy Christoph. Sophia Harris, I'm so excited. Sesh Jaws, what software am I using to do this live stream? Well, I'm using some software called Ecamm Live. And I remember a few weeks ago I saw, I don't know, it just popped up, how these things do, maybe in Instagram. It looks interesting. And so I thought, download it and have a free week or something like that. And it's absolutely brilliant. And I got a bit hooked and I had to change cameras. I had to get all sorts of extra bits and pieces. But it's, I think it's really, really good. What do you think? Does it look good? Okay, so far? What will I draw today? I don't know. My parents not pat $3 for Patreon. Sorry. Well, there you go. What have we got here? Something. Welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. So this is Shoe Rainer Drawing Channel is not made for kids. Ever since October or something like that. YouTube have brought in the Children's Online Protection Act thing, COPPA. So this channel is not made for kids. If you go to my other channel, Draw Stuff Real Easy, then that is made for kids. Although I'm not calling it. I've changed it from being. I used to have it for fun, homework, and school projects, but I'm just calling it for beginners, basically. I think because I know a lot of adults do those drawings as well. So I'm just calling it for beginners, really. Good afternoon, everybody. It's working. A few. Oh, hang on. We're down here now. Right. Cool Gamer. Hello, sir. Big fan. Cool Gamer. Hello, Fusion Tide. Hey there, Shu. I wish I could stay again. Haha. Katrina Blee looks marvellous. Thank you, Sestral. What happened? Is it me that just lost the stream? Oh. Did you just lose the stream? Have I lost everybody? Are you still there? Oh, yeah. No, this is this is so difficult. Are you still there? Well, I will carry on anyway, because somewhere it'll be recording it, and I can I can put it if the stream has lost. No, we're getting new things like that. So anyway, I've been thinking quite what to do. I think I'm fairly committed to this idea of doing Friday afternoon drawing sessions, and I'm not quite sure how it will go. It's just me kind of talking to a camera, isn't it? No drawing. So we got some more things. We're here. Well, I'm here. Good. Thank you very much. Good. So maybe Clay's lolling. Yeah, there we go. Good. So at the moment it's just me kind of talking to the camera, isn't it? And drawing sort of covers a whole lot of things. And this week, on Wednesday night, I had been out gardening, doing some heavy digging and stuff like that, because for the first time in weeks it hasn't been raining, and the ground has just got a bit softer and drier to dig, and it wasn't too cold. So I went out and I was gardening all afternoon, and I went in front of the TV in the evening, and on BBC 4, which is it's a more educationally kind of channel that the BBC put on. They had the whole evening they put over to live drawing. So I'm not sure which studio they were in. They kind of suggested they were at the Royal Academy. I don't know if it actually was. So they had naked models there, and they had 6 or 7 students drawing them, and a couple of kind of famous artists sort of helping and teaching and talking, and then just sort of talking about life drawing. They spent the whole evening. They were doing these kind of 10-minute, 15-minute sketches, trying different things. And they had two kind of celebrities there, comedians. One was Jenny Eclair. I can't remember the name of the other one. She used to be in Miranda. And they were looking so uncomfortable. And celebrities usually breeze through these things, but they were getting really embarrassed, because something like that requires deep concentration. And I guess as comedians, they're kind of used to kind of performing, and this is a very different thing. And I think a lot of people find drawing in public a bit like singing in public, and they get really embarrassed by it. So it kind of got me thinking about life drawing, and I remember when I first did life drawing when I was at art college, it was a bit of a shock the first time when we sort of sat down with our boards, just getting comfortable, and suddenly, bang, this naked man bounced out of a cupboard. It's like, ah! And but you get used to these things, but I never quite got used to the drawing part of it, and we never had any instruction. It was kind of assumed that we knew what we were doing, and off you went. And occasionally a lecturer would come up and kind of lean over you and go, and never anything sort of technical or anything like that. So I was always very uncomfortable doing that, and found it really, really difficult. And then we got a great new lecturer at college, Chris Core, who's a well-known illustrator artist now, and he used to get us doing like 5-minute sketches, 30-second sketches, and we would all pose ourselves clothed, and we had one particular student, name's just completely left me now. She was quite punky and used to dress up in interesting things, and she kind of really went in for this posing thing, and that was really, really fun because you got the shape of the clothes and stuff like that, and I just always found that more interesting than life drawing and drawing people. And when I think about what is this life drawing thing all about, I think if you really want to draw people, and particularly if you want to draw naked people, you really want to do life drawing. That's obvious. But I think that historically, that whole thing of life drawing comes from the time before cameras. And art students were basically being trained to do big pictures of battles, big pictures of people in the countryside, and portraits, and so that's because they were the cameras of the time, and that was their job. They were being trained to do to make pictures for people to hang on walls, and to look at like you would do a photograph now. So we have cameras now. You don't need to do that. And millions of photographers taking photographs of naked people all the time. So, what's it all about? And I still would much rather go and sit in a cafe and draw people, or go and sit in a cafe window and draw people walking down the street than sit in a studio and draw naked people, because it's really difficult drawing naked people for a start. It is a really difficult thing. Human bodies are really difficult, particularly the hands and the feet. But it's what interests me. It doesn't interest me drawing that as much as the things people wear, the clothes they wear, and the way they're hanging on to shopping and carrying things, and the way they're talking to each other, whereas a model just sat there in a life drawing room is just, they're just sitting there getting bored, and there's no kind of anything coming off them somehow. There's no life coming off a life drawing model. There must be one or two. I remember we had one lady who was really passionate about being a model, and it was fun drawing her because we were in it together, I think. And that kind of made me think, oh, I'm talking, aren't I? That kind of made me think, why on earth do I bother drawing? And so, it's my job. It's what I do. I'm an illustrator. And so I don't really think about it. When I get up in the morning, I'm thinking, how am I going to draw that? And what am I going to do for this story? How am I going to draw that character? What's this character going to look like? So I'm just thinking about it all day long. But not everybody is like that. And a lot of people find when they get to do art for a job, it becomes a job, and it becomes boring and tedious, and and they don't want to do it. So why, if you're not doing it for money, why would you draw? And if I look back, I remember when I was 4 or 5, and at tea time, around about this time of day, my mum would sort of make a cup of tea, and we'd settle down, and she'd be doing the ironing, and I would get a piece of paper and I would draw, and I'd say, what can I draw, Mum? And she would always say a boat. And I was still no good at drawing boats, because I would think, I don't want to do that, I'll draw something else. And then, through my, up to 11 or something, I was drawing all the time, always drawing stuff. And then I kind of moved into making things more, I think, because drawing you've got to work hard at drawing to make it good, I think. And eventually, I just decided, I couldn't stop drawing. I couldn't not draw, and I don't know what drove me to it. I just did, and I've got sketchbooks up in my attic going back to when I was 13. Most of them are, in fact, full of romantic poetry about girlfriends who, whatever. A lot of songs I used to write, but always there was drawing in there as well. But not serious drawing until I didn't really get serious about it until I was in my late 20s, I suppose. And so I asked. I said, why do you draw? And I'm trying to find my what I need to. Oh no, I can stop that. I don't want to have that. So if I go channel dashboard, that's not the one I want. I want to have. That's what I want. This is live. This is the wonder of live, isn't it? So yeah. So on my community page on YouTube, I asked, why do we draw? And we got notes from the underground. Got one reply. Thank you, notes from the underground. Drawing quietens my mind and reduces stress. It also gives me energy. Drawing is a productive hobby. I thought that was really good. And I think, I know what you mean, it quietens my mind. And I find, when I'm in front of my camera here and I'm drawing to make a video, it's very hard to talk at the same time because it quietens my mind. And there are times when I'm out and I see something and I just want to draw, and I can just sit there and it quietens you down, and you kind of look, because you really have to look and you really have to concentrate, and everything else does kind of disappear, and it reduces stress. And I think if it works and you've learned, it doesn't have to be a brilliant picture, but I think if you have got something from it, then it does give you energy. If that one little bit has worked, you get, yes, that's what I was trying to get. It does give you energy, yes. And then I was asking my patrons as well, and Amy Lynn Earl says, I think that drawing or painting, making art in general, is a bit instinctual for me, and I would say that is for me too. It is kind of my default response to feeling inspired. Yeah, I would say that. I see something I think is beautiful or cute, and I want to draw it. like you see a cute kitten, you want to stroke it. See some things, you just want to draw it. But I'm also looking at the world through the eyes of an artist, and I think art or drawing is somehow integral to my human experience, and perhaps to all humans in some way. It is another outlet for our thoughts and our creative voice. In short, something inside me feels called to create, and I'm not sure how else to describe it. I think that's really well described, Amy. And I think particularly that thing where you say it's an outlet for our thoughts and our creative voice. I say that it's the quickest thing to get what's in your brain out, because it's just whoosh down to the end of your fingers and scribble, scribble, scribble. And you have an idea in your head and you manifest it on a piece of paper, just like that. Of course, you can do it by speech, but sometimes it's easier to draw a picture than paint a picture in words. And then William Ratliff says, the one constant that kept drawing in the back of my head were comic books. Once I had decided as a kid that I was never going to be able to draw for a big comic publisher, I kept reading and admiring the artists, but they were someone to look up with their own superpowers I just couldn't have. And after enough years had gone by, I realised that it wasn't that I couldn't draw, it was that I didn't understand the commitment in time and effort that it took to improve. And I think that is a big thing. I think it is a big commitment. If you want to get better and better and better, it is a big commitment in time and effort. And not everybody has that time, and maybe they dream of when they retire, which is actually when a lot of people start watching my videos when they retire and think, oh, I found your videos. And not everybody has time. They got other things. And, and I've just been incredibly lucky myself to have been able to work as an illustrator and be paid to have that time, I suppose, essentially. But I suppose it was a risk doing that, but it kind of paid off. I realised that it was going to be slow because I was aware of how much time I'd likely be able to devote to it, and where it fell as a priority in my life. And once I was happy with that, it was suddenly much easier to spend a few minutes each day drawing something, and it was it was okay that it wasn't perfect or that I would never be a rock star comic artist. And now it's enjoyable just because I can make the effort, and at the end of the day, I usually wind up with something I'm happy to have made. And I think that is really important. I know, I wanted to be a rock star, and I knew I couldn't, and I know lots of other people want to be rock stars and musicians and things. This is rock star comic artists, but many people are, in the end, they realise they're not going to be, Mick Jagger or whatever, some massive rock star, and in the end are happy just to be able to play with some mates and have a good time. And I think it's the same with drawing. I think if you can relax into that and go, okay, if I, maybe I'm not going to be the next, Vincent van Gogh or something, because I haven't got the time to dedicate to it, but I am going to actually just relax and enjoy this thing, then maybe things will come that bit easier because you're not so stressed about it. And you can get really stressed about it. So I'm going to come and have a look and see what you are saying, because I think I've been hearing lots of, I get these little pops and things. There's an awful lot going on here. So I can't see anymore. Is the live stream still? Oh, I hope you're all watching. Yeah. Before I go, I have one question. Realism. Is it a good art style to practice first over others in comparison to abstract and semi-realism? Any possible tips for that style if it isn't too much to ask? You see, I think when I see a painting that is in micro detail, I know it's been copied from a photograph, and it is basically just a copy of a photograph. It's a tracing, essentially. and I think, why? And it's kind of like Mount Everest does it. It's because it's there, and it's, because I started here, I get to keep painting till I get to the end, and it's like, wow, that is amazing. But I have no interest in doing that myself, and my thing is, I see something on the TV, 3 seconds, and then I just draw what I saw, and sometimes it just goes weird, sometimes it comes out really interesting. It isn't going to look like what I saw, it's an impression, and that's kind of what I like doing. So realism, that sort of photorealism, I would say, is for photographs. Get a camera. Zoalhema Habib. I love mechanical pencils. I own a Rotary 600. It makes me so eager to just hold it and draw and draw and draw and draw. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, where has it gone? Dun, dun, dun. What number is mine? Yes, I got an 800. It's heavy. Where are we? Sestral, try refreshing the page. Oh, right. Hello. Thank you, everyone. I'm back. Oh, so it wasn't me. It was you. There we go. I have to go, even though I just got here. Sorry about that. You can come back and watch it. Right. So, can you give me a shout out? Dabby Disco. There you go. I love your drawing videos so much. Even though I like drawing, keep doing your amazing drawing. Thank you. I will. What's my favourite type of artwork? What that I do? Favourite type of artwork that I do? I like, I'm a kids book illustrator, so that's kind of what I like. I like kind of loose watercolour. It's kind of what I like. Where are we now? Kevin Fraser, you can get into a lot of trouble trying to draw naked people in a cafe. You certainly can. Maybe there's a whole new thing there. Naked studio cafes or something. Come in, have a cup of coffee and draw a naked person. They'll have to have sort of screens in the window. This is not for kids, this show. There we go. Big Shed Art staggers in carrying a mountain of sea white sketchbook. Big Shed Art. This is Judy, and she has been out. She saw last week I was using heavy cartridge from Sea White, and she realised that she lives not very far from the Sea White shop. So she's been out shopping. And Judy actually sent me a thing yesterday. She sent me a PDF she'd made especially for me with these little... so I could print out these little cards saying, "Have you switched camera?" to remind me. So, and I've also written on there sound to make sure that I turn the sound on as well. So thank you, Judy. Right, what else? There's no drawing in this show, is there? It's all just talk. So, what's my favourite type of art? Well, I've done that, haven't I? Says Jules, wow, my 2-year-old daughter and I are lying down and watching. She really managed to think. 2 years ago, I bought Pandora for my daughter. Was then at the time yet to be born. That is amazing, isn't it? Yeah. So you can get where am I stuck? Apricotcha. That's a good name, isn't it? Apricotcha. So big pleasure to listen to you. Thank you. Okay, when I draw, according to scientists, the left side of my brain switches off, and that's the side that deals with everyday life, its worries and practical concerns, and the right side, the dreamy, not representational side that deals with feelings and abstract ideas, takes over. And I think you will find, I think that's why I find it hard when I'm drawing. And I think a lot of people will find it hard drawing and talking at the same time, because, you know, your brain is in two halves. And I think it's not quite... I think there was this time about 10 years ago when it was all left side, right side, and, you know, there's going to be a war between the two. You need both sides. But some people are more creative, so they'll be on the left side. Some people are more kind of mathematical and languagey, and they'll be on the right side. And I think once you start doing something creative, and you start concentrating, then you go into the flow, and that's on the left side of the brain, and the left side will then sort of take over, and the right side sort of kind of falls asleep, and that's the language side, and the kind of analytical side. So at the same time, you know, when you're being very analytical, very mathematical, very, you know, language, it's quite hard to draw because you're using all these different kind of skills in different part of the brain. So I think it's quite, you really need to hone both sides to be fully creative, and to somehow work the two together. And I suppose the last 30 years I've been visiting a lot of schools, and I tell stories and stuff like that, but then I get up and I draw and I talk while I'm drawing. So I suppose that has allowed me to do it. But I know if you look at my very early videos, I'm drawing away and I'm talking like mad. You know, I think the adrenaline was people thought I was on drugs. It was adrenaline. And over the years you can see that my language gets slower and slower and slower as I'm drawing. So I agree. I like the dreamy side. Yeah. Melissa Aldasora, for me, drawing is meditative. Yes, I would agree with that. And Melissa yeah, she says, I get lost. Trails. Hi, I mean, she says, I recently started my channel and it's so hard to draw and talk. Yeah, I realised that and thought of what you... I like to talk while making the video, but it takes practice. It does. Oh, this message is held for review. What does that say? Potentially inappropriate messages are held for view. This feature can be disabled. Shall I risk this? I'm going to show. Ugly grim stuff. What have you said? Oh, it's gone. Where's it gone? I said to open it. This is a whole new thing. Oh no, it's just disappeared. Or maybe I'll come across it somewhere. I'll check out your channel session. Can you believe that? Ugly Green Star says, I'll check out your channel session. That's thought to be inappropriate. Hannah Lambert, I found the same. We did live drawing at uni, but I much preferred when we took it in turns posing for each other. Drawing the clothes and style using ink and bamboo shoots was really fun. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just, you know, getting bits of bamboo, chopping them into pens and things like that. It's half past and I haven't drawn anything. Bitu Vala says, hi. And Melissa Aldo says, hi, Bitu. Melissa says, Bitu. I messaged you in Instagram. Right. Please see my improvement. I'll have a look, see if I can find something there. Instagram can be a bit confusing sometimes, trying to keep up with who's saying what. So they don't really have it kind of threaded properly that you can follow what's going on. Kevin Fraser, I haven't got the ear to dedicate to becoming the next Vincent van Gogh. No. You mean you've lost them both already? Carolyn, to draw gives me some time. Yeah, I know. It's me time, isn't it? It's time for you. And I think when people see you drawing, I think when people see you kind of go into that thing, that little sort of cone of me and the paper, I think they kind of go, oh, leave them alone. They're doing something special. So people will leave you alone to do that as well. Yeah. Kashan, hello. Lots of people saying hello to each other. There we are. It's a problem because I have, yeah. Yeah, try and you have to look. Try and look. When you go to school, I want you to go and tell them, teach me online safety. Don't give out your age and things like that. Okay, so I'm going to remove that. Okay, so don't give out your age. Try and let's have some online safety here. And this is not for kids. So, this show is not for you, really. Okay. Carolyn, to draw gives me sometimes a feeling of stress. Yeah. I guess it's still the memory of old school days. Pressure of delivering something that will be graded, but you don't have to be graded. I always say, look, when you draw something, I think, I'm saying it again, but I think, sometimes you have to repeat something 100 times before people hear it. When you have finished a drawing, the best thing is to put it away for a couple of days and don't look at it, and then come back to it, and then look at it and go, oh, that's not right, that's not right, that's not right. But next time, this is how I will correct it, and that's how I will get that right, and that's what's wrong here. And then you look for one thing that you did get right and you go, that's good. And you close it up, put it away, and leave yourself with that good feeling. Yeah, I got that tiny little bit right. It doesn't matter if the whole thing isn't right, but you're going to get it right next time. And you can do it next time. You can repeat the same drawing 100 times until you do get it right. But just enjoy it. Kevin Fraser just became a grandfather. Congratulations. Can confirm baby yawning photographs read perfect as baby rage photographs. Yeah, I get that. Katrina Blee, I play piano and I find it difficult to talk and play at the same time. I can sing, but not talk. I was just about to say that. Yeah, because I used to write lots of songs on guitar and you can play. And if I thought about it, my fingers would just go. But I could go into this kind of flow state. Where I wouldn't think about the chords, I wouldn't think about anything. It was just about the emotion of the song. And it just somehow happens. And suddenly, it's finished. Yeah, that's a whole other thing, isn't it? At what stage did you start to colour medium? You started colour medium or mixing? I don't know. I suppose I just always kind of had a go. Melissa Aldasori, congrats, Grandpa Kevin. Yeah, congratulations. There we are. Sorry, I think you don't see the caller on Instagram, but maybe my little brother. Sorry. Yeah, okay. Right. So what I am now going to do is I am going to change cameras, and I am going to open this, and it's a Winsor & Newton Cotman watercolor set, which I used to use a long time ago. Oh my god! I had a set which I opened previously. That looks really messy, and these aren't the original colours. So I thought it would be interesting to get this set, get a brand new set, open it up on here, and go through the colours, and so that from now on everybody knows exactly what I am using. So now I'm going to change over to the drawing camera, and I can just press my thing here. That was the wrong one. It says, have you switched the camera? Yes. Have I got the sound on? Yes. So here we are. This is the Winsor & Newton Cotman watercolours, and you will find links below. And also, I think all the paintings that I'm going to ever be doing live, I'm going to be using a water brush. This is a Pentel Aquash brush, and this is the broad, and this is the only one. You can get the whole set with the thick ones and the thin ones and the flat ones, but this is the one brush that I use for everything. I love this brush. I was first asked on YouTube, somebody said, would I review this brush, and I bought one, and it's a toy, it's horrid, and then I tried it, and I went, oh. And for sketching it is absolutely perfect. So what you do is you unscrew it, you fill the handle with water, so you've got the water with you. You don't, you can just whip out your paintbrush and start painting, and the water flows down. And it was a bit dirty, but just by doing that, it's clean because it's flowing and it flows the colour out. So it works differently to another brush, so you need to kind of play with it a little bit. The other brush, you load it with colour, and that colour is there. Here you get some colour on it, and because the water is flowing, it is always slowly fading out, basically. So this is the brush that I use, and like I said, when I first got it, I thought they were rubbish. I thought they were children's toys, but this has been responsible for really changing my style, actually, because it's so quick and fun. So this is the Winsor & Newton Cotman watercolour set. So Cotman are one up from kids, but they're not the full set. But if you're going to be in a sketchbook, I think they're perfect. They're a lot cheaper than the artist ones. They feel just as good, and I think the main thing is light fastness. So if you were to paint a picture you wanted up on the wall, they might fade, but if it's in a sketchbook, it's not going to fade at all. So I'm going to have a look at the colours here. And I'm going to put my glasses on, and so what I used to do, now I've got my scalpel here to do this. In the old days, what I used to do was to let me see, where does it have the name here? So lemon yellow hue, and I'm going to do that. And in the old days, I used to put that in at the bottom, or something like that. But in fact, what I think I might have to do is, and then we need to unwrap these, and I used to put the paper in at the bottom to remind me what it was, so that when it ran out I could order a new one. But nowadays they print it on the side, lemon yellow hue, so you can find it again. Now that is a bit loose, so what I tend to do is and did I prepare for this? No, I didn't. So somewhere I might have. I just check one more drawer. I just check this drawer, and no, I can't find anything. But you will find in this one that now I use my scalpel for everything here. So I'm going to just try to get one of these out of here. There, let me get this lemon yellow out. I think it's a lemon yellow. Do not do this at home. No, that's fine. But some of them I have used, what's it called? The stuff you stick, the blue tack. and I put a tiny little blob of blue tack in there because that's actually quite loose in there. So that's a lemon yellow, and then here we are going to have how exciting is this? Here we have cadmium yellow. I'm not sure if it is actually cadmium, is it? It is cadmium yellow, so they're trying to change those colours now. I know in my let me find, I know I got one recently. No, that's not, no. This is in my little stash. No, not in there either. Can I find them? Here we are. Cadmium free yellow deep. So I got those recently. So these are the really expensive ones. They're just slightly different. So this is the professional watercolour and this is the Cotman watercolour. But I think Cotman watercolours are really, really good and not, as I say, then noticeably differently priced to the professional colours. And I think the professional colours really are. This is cadmium red. Oh, this is so exciting, isn't it? And perhaps what I should do is come and have a look at your questions again for a moment, and then I can be answering them while I'm undoing. And this is alizarin crimson. I'll come and look at your questions because I can hear things popping. When you things, it goes pop, pop, pop. And I can hear things in the background. Hi, Amy. There we are. Let me see. Where are we? Parasol Lenka. Hello, sir. So glad to be your follower. Right now, I'm practicing the fundamentals. At what stage do you think I should see myself fit to jump into doing finished works based on different themes? Anytime you like. Just have a go. I don't see there's any reason to wait. Have a little go and see what happens. Erin Cobar, I have to go. Right, good night. There we are. Thanks, Melissa. Blah, 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 blah. Amy else. Hi, Shu, Amy. If you go back to the beginning, I read out what you'd said earlier, Amy. Thank you for being here. Melissa, I like the Pentel water brush too. Don't care for other brands of water brush. I have tried other brands. And the Pentel is the one. I don't know why. The others look pretty much the same, but I don't know. There's something about the Pentel. Kevin Fraser, Shu, your YouTube viewers love listening to you, and that speaks volumes. Thank you. Matt Marshall, to answer the room question, I like to draw because I find it soothing and fun. Yeah, thank you. Right, I'm a silly kid. Okay, yeah. So use small magnets. Oh, I see. What to hold the things in? I think that sounds very technological. To hold the paint in the thing. I think blue tack is probably an awful lot easier. Amy Ells, I love lemon yellow. She says, yeah. Somebody get a first aid kit. This went in well. No, I know. Yeah, scalpels are a little bit dangerous, aren't they? Melissa, Trails TM, that palette is plastic. Yeah, the palette is plastic. The whole thing is plastic, yes. You can buy them on Amazon. Yeah, stick to plastic. Yeah, it's nice the pans are labelled as well. It is self-adhesive stick on plastic and the magnets connect. I see. Yeah, I think that's kind of overdoing it. Blue tack works. I know I've done it. So there we go. I'll come back. I keep wanting to think. I have a little thing I can just press here and I can go doing like that. So let's keep going. And so maybe what I should do is, when I've got all these out, I should do a little something. And then what am I going to draw? I know Amy said today that she really liked a tiny little drawing I did of a cup of tea and a teapot and things. So maybe I could do something very quick like that. Ultramarine. Okay. And here. Actually, if I just go straight down, like that, they're so quite fiddly, and I'm trying to do this with everybody watching me. This is intense blue, and And one of the reasons I'm doing this was, you may or may not know, I went on a cruise in November. We went to the north of Norway. This is Viridian Hue. And there was a wonderful lady doing watercolour lessons, and I thought I will go along. And she was great. We became great friends. And you know, everybody coming along, they were getting these kits. And normally I sort of say, first thing, get rid of this, get rid of that, change this, change that. And she did something with blue and burnt umber, this is. Oh. And she made me think again about mixing things. So I thought, yeah, just do it with this kit and nothing extra, and see how we go. Now the only kind of problematic thing is, thank heavens there is no black. Black doesn't work with watercolour. It just sort of punches a hole in watercolour. It's too delicate a medium. But they do give you white here, which I'm inclined not to use myself, but I'm going to keep it. See, my instinct is to throw this out and put Naples yellow in or something like that, but I'm going to find a way of doing Naples yellowy things without Naples yellow. Now you also get this tiny little brush, which is probably, I don't know, you could probably use it for something. I don't know. It's there, just in case. I'm just licking that so that I can make sure all the hairs are together to go in like that. So I'm going to get. Well, I'll just let me come back and see what you're saying. Hang on. Where are we now? Chelsea, you're more techie than me. I'm so behind. Two artists walk into a bar. All right, yeah. Sorry, I got. I heard a really funny thing about people walking into a bar the other day. I can't remember it. Mrs. Brown's Boys. I don't quite get on with Mrs. Brown's Boys somehow. This is not an X-Acto safety lecture, is it? No, this is not made for kids. I have been using scalpels for nearly 40 years, every day. So I kind of, I kind of know them. Oh, I found there's a little blue arrow there. And I'm not quite sure which bit I'm trying to press here. There we go. Amy, have you ever tried new Gamboge? No, I haven't. Sam, I love the videos, and your art show inspired me to draw and paint for my kids. Fantastic, thank you. That's great to know. There we are. What animal takes up the most room on land? Oh Lord, this is going to turn into a comedy show. A groundhog. Oh. Okay, enough of that. So I'm going to. We got 10 minutes, so I'm going to draw you something, and I'm going to have to go to this camera. Are we on that camera? We are on that camera, and you can see me here too. I forgot that. That's because I've got this bit covered up. I can't actually see what I'm actually there. Yeah. So if I get that there, I can zoom in a bit. I'm going to zoom in a bit like that, and yeah, that works. So what am I going to draw? I know Amy said she liked this teapot thing I did the other day, so let me do that with my Rotring 800. So I had a little kind of round teapot, and so we got a circle, we got a sphere. Can you see that? Okay, yes you can. Oh, it's a bit wobbly, isn't it there? And then we're going to want, there'll be an ellipse on the top, which is the lid, and then you want a little sort of thing on the top. That's going to actually sort of come out like that. And then we're going to want to have a teacup, which is going to be something like that, and that's going to need to be in a saucer, and there will be a spoon, and then we'll need a plate with little cakes on, which are going to be something like that, and we'll have one more there, and there'll be kind of there. Oh, I don't take milk. So, should we have a milk jug as well? Just going to be kind of something like that. And then I need to find a pen, which I just happen to have in my pocket, always. I worked with a school a few years ago, and then I was going in every week to see 3 different classes I would go and see, and they started sort of pointing out that I always had 3 or 4 pens in my right hand side trouser pocket, and all 3 or 4 Rotring pens, all identical, in a slightly obsessive sort of way. And then one day I came in, and this girl was sort of standing there with her, I don't know, she was about 10 years old, with sort of hands on her hips, going, no, 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 and sort of, look at me. And she got a pocket in her skirt. She got these pens sticking in her pocket. She said, "I like you." So yeah, here we go. I'm having to think what's the nearest thing to me, and I think it's going to be this teaspoon. It's going to be something like that, and then I can sort of come around there and have this cup coming down there like that, and then we'll have the tea in there and a handle, and then we're going to want to have the saucer, and there'll be a bit underneath it that you might sort of see, and again, what's the thing on top? It's probably going to be the cherries on the top, isn't it? Like that. So if I put the cherries in there like that, and dig, and then we can come around, and that's the kind of the casing. Dig there, and come around, and I'm sure if I wasn't talking, this would be quite different. Like that. So we'll come around there. I know if I was not talking, I would not be going dig, but that's because I'm talking. So these need to be on a plate. I'm not sure they're all quite on the same plane, but fairly close. I think the milk jug actually needs to come a little bit higher, so that can come down there. We bring that around and down, and then the teapot can sort of come around there like that, and that's kind of there, and we'll put the table in the background, and then you can have a horrid noise now. Oh, if I can find my hairdryer. So maybe actually, if I go and put it on the other microphone, it might not be quite so bad. If I go to that for a moment, and I'm just drying with my hairdryer to make sure that it is dry. So then I can. Which one am I? That's the one I want. Yeah. So then I can come back to this one and go and say, I've lost my erase. No, there we are, I found it. So, I always say, when you are sure that the ink is dry, then you can erase the pencil line. But only when the ink is dry. And I think we might need something like that and a little bit underneath it too. I think it's just fairly rushed, so, it's not quite, I should have thought about that much more. Where the milk jug was going to go. It was a bit of an afterthought anyway. So, look, these are the colours, these are the paints, and I always have a bit of kitchen towel with me. And so I'm not quite sure about this. I might also decide to rearrange where they're actually going to go in. I think before I've had like the yellows up. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. So I'm thinking I want something very pale blue. So this ultramarine is quite. Is that showing up at all? I'm going to zoom in a bit more and make it a bit more obvious. So this is ultramarine. I'm cleaning the brush, and then so that it's just kind of, I'm just painting with water really, and a tiny bit there, And instead of painting with white, the highlight I'm leaving. It's the I'm letting the paper be the white paint. Does that make sense? And so I'm assuming it's all the same set of it's a China service kind of thing. So, and here, like last time, you remember I was talking, showing the shading with the cross hatching. Here is, again, you're going to get ambient light on the edge, and the darkest part is going to be about there. And so I'm cleaning the brush. So it's constantly sort of adapting how much paint is on the brush, so that I can maybe put a tiny bit more in there, just to make it a little bit kind of darker down there. And then I'm thinking that this is going to be a bit darker around there, like that, and also inside the cut it's going to be a bit darker, and probably around the handle a bit. I think underneath the handles it's probably going to be a bit darker, and across the top there. And then what was this one? This is yellow ochre, isn't it? So I'm going to assume, oh, that one's just, yeah, I should have icing on the top, shouldn't I? So let's have one in a horrid blue icing, right? That's going to send the kids floating up to the ceiling. And then this is alizarin crimson, so that'll give us some pink. Let's have two pink ones as well. And then we want a cherry red. So what's going on here, look, is as I'm not really squeezing. Sometimes I squeeze a little bit. It depends. If it's not working, if it's not flowing, then you might have to squeeze. And these paints are brand new, so they're quite dry. And the more you use them, the more they'll go soft and gummy, and will just kind of just sort of stick to your brush in a kind of a lovely kind of way. And then I'm going to put a little bit of shading in there for the moment. That's burnt. I'm going to mix a bit of burnt sienna in with the ochre to get a kind of a tea colour, and then I want a bit more of the burnt on that side, I think. We're going to have some silver for the teaspoon. We're going to need some kind of shadow and blue stuff going in around here. Oh, that's too much. That is much too much. So now I'm just trying to remove that amount there. And what have we got? I'm going to add a little bit of green. Oh, maybe a bit of green. No, we need a bit of brown in there. So I'm going to add a little bit of let's do brown. This is the thing I've learned. And then we want that kind of no, that's not it either. Hang on, we want the brown and the blue, which will give us a nice grey. There we go. And so that's not a brilliant grey, is it? Hang on, I'm going to put a bit of umber in there as well, something like that. Well, anyway, I think it doesn't really matter. I think you can get over carried away about what colour the shadows should be and things, and sometimes by kind of making mistakes, it actually that's quite nice. A bit of shadow in there, and I think maybe a bit of shadow, probably a bit of shadow underneath there. I'm going to make that a bit darker underneath there. I think maybe a bit darker underneath there, maybe a bit more around there. And I'm just making this up and playing with it as I'm going along. I'm going to get my hairdryer out again. Are you ready? And then I think the thing that kind of brings it all together again is to get some blue. And then we could maybe have a blue knob on the top there. Maybe that could be blue around there. We could maybe have some little kind of pattern around the top. something like that, and around the bottom maybe as well. Maybe there'd be something on the handle. And similarly, I think, by putting a bit of pattern around the milk jug, that just kind of brings it to life a bit more, or maybe something on there. And also around the teacup, you can have a bit of pattern. And then around the saucer, around the edge, you can have, because it's a tea service, so it's kind of the same pattern. And you're going to want the plate to be part of that pattern too. And so, where is this all coming from? This is, tea services I have known, I suppose, and have drawn in the past. And they I need a bit more shade in there, I think, maybe a bit more in there. And the last thing that I'm really kind of thinking about is a bit more burnt sienna, and maybe just, that one is just something like that. And then actually, I think what I might just do is I'm going to make it kind of a pink tablecloth over the whole thing, which is probably going to ruin it by doing that. But, you don't know unless you try. It's just a bit of fun, isn't it? So there we go. So that's just very, very quick. Showing you using the paints. And there you go. So next week, what are we going to draw next week? What am I going to draw and paint next week? That's the thing. You'll have to let me know in the questions down below. There is a comments box down below, so you can let me know what you think I should draw and talk about next week. Let me just catch up with what people have been saying. So, you need an old BBC test pattern with soothing music. Yeah, that's so. Where did we get to? We can go with all this camera glitching business. Yeah, I've been practicing. Practice. Even with cap. I have. Shall I show you? I have this amazing thing, and I thought, shall I? I thought, no, just go for it and invest in it. It's called a Stream Deck, and when I press this, it will go to the drawing camera. Ta-da! And when I press the other one, it comes back to me. How good is that? But I have to make sure I have the cameras all set up beforehand, so the switching is a lot easier. Before I had to do it, I use a Wacom pen, so I was having to do it, with a Wacom pen, which gets very confusing. So where are we now? Sam, I love videos on your art shoe. You inspired me to draw. But yeah, I did that, didn't I? Didn't we? I think we've done those bits. It's quite hard to keep up with what's going on here. You did no BBC test. Oh, that down the girl freaked me out with the doll. Oh God, yes, that was the BBC. Yes, the doll was weird. Why is drawing everyday objects always seem the tough, or is that just me? I don't know. I suppose that's kind of what I do on Draw Stuff Real Easy, isn't it? Sort of everyday kind of things, stuff. It's all everyday objects tend to be cylinders, spheres, squares, cubes, things like that. Practice those and see if that makes. See the shapes inside the object and draw the shapes. That's one way to do it. The other way is all negative space. We washed up this palette in regular soap, and this palette is new Sudzo 2000. Big shed. I found the lid mixing palettes benefit from a bit of washing up liquid and a gentle scourer. Yeah, the trouble with the scourer, it makes it, if you scour it, it makes it easier to stain it next time. I found the lid mixing palettes benefit from a bit of washing. I find mugs and things like shoes to be tricky. That's probably because I mostly paint landscapes and animals. Yeah, I think you get good at what you like drawing. And so you will find other things that you're not drawing every day difficult. If you're drawing something, one kind of thing all the time, you will get good. And the other things you find difficult. Yeah. So Matt Marsh says, I draw a lot of cartoon people. And I'm trying to get down to the bottom. Shoes are tough, says Olga Green Star. Hey, maybe I'll just avoid them. Your daffs and the little sink side. Yeah. They were. Yeah, it took me a while to draw a decent cartoon hand. Hands are difficult. Don't get me started on hands. I am going to a wedding in the summer, and I'm thinking that I might try and stop off on the way back and see my old lecturer at college. And he was the master at hands. And you remember in the old days when you wanted to do DIY, you would get a book. Now you come to YouTube and somebody shows you how to strip wallpaper or something like that. But if you wanted to do DIY, you would get a book and there'd be drawings in there. And they're all done with those rotring pens with little dots. That was my old lecturer. So I was thinking of going, stopping off and seeing him on the way home and having a chat about that style and the old days and stuff like that. So that would be good fun. Don't start me in hands. I love mixing grey, says Amy. Yeah, it takes a while. Ultramarine and sepia is my favourite combo. Yeah, absolutely. You see, whereas I naturally just go to neutral tint, and I've always told people, go and get neutral tint. And that's complicated, isn't it? So we'll just stick with this set. Shared sink buns. There's sink buns. No way. I don't have my glasses. Definitely really helped me with hands. Yeah. It was a stink bug, not a there's lots of comedy going on in the things here. Judy says, Big Shed Art. Kevin, you need to join Shoe's Patreon. Come along to the Facebook group we share on our own Shooby Doodles. Thank you. Thank you, Judy. I'm just not good at sort of marketing. That's the word I'm looking for. My Patreon group. I have set up this week a Facebook group only for patrons. And I'm kind of thinking of maybe doing a YouTube membership thing, and they could come along too, because some people might find that easier. I'll have to ask my patrons about that. Yeah, so we have an exclusive Shooby Doodlers Facebook group. Yes, that's the word I'm looking for, where we can all sort of share ideas and thoughts and stuff like that. So, which is where I got those things I said earlier from Amy and William. So, come and join me on Patreon. Link, up here. Amy, no, I found a stink bug near my kitchen sink, so I just sketch it. Cool. Oh, I understand now. Yes, I'm following it now. Yes, Amy did a picture of stink bug, which we would call a shield bug. Connor plays McLucky. Shout out, me. Connor plays McLucky. Tokyo Traveller. I'm an aspiring children's book writer, but good illustration is so expensive. If I dedicated 3 hours a day for 2 to 3 years, can a noob illustrate a children's book professionally? Are you... Oh, this is going to be long, isn't it? I have been self-publishing stuff just in the last 3 or 4 years, and I have come to the conclusion children's books, it's I don't think it's worth it. It really, it's so much time and effort. And if you're writing, for most people, that is more than enough. And I think illustrators are storytellers. And that's what makes an illustrator different from other kinds of artists. Illustrators tell stories with pictures. That's what you do. So it's not unusual for an illustrator to write. It's very unusual for a writer to become an illustrator, because it requires a completely different skill set. And I think if you went and put that kind of dedication into becoming an illustrator, you might find all your writing skills floating away. So if you really want to write and you think you're really good, find a publisher. Just keep writing, keep sending stuff to a publisher, and they will find the illustrator, because that is what publishers do best. They find great writing, they find great illustrators. They put the two together and create something new. And occasionally there are people like me who start out as illustrators who are also kind of storytellers that, become writers too. I still don't think of myself as a writer. I find the writing part really hard work, and it's just different. It's very, very different. Shout out, please. I've done that. Oh no, yes, I've done that. Yeah. Tokyo Traveller. People do it more these days. Publish cheaper. I know. And if you want to, there is a thing about wanting to be published. You want to hold a book in your hand. That's fair enough. Self-published. And it's a lot of hard work. It's a big learning process. Or you get somebody to do it and you pay for it. If you want to make a living from it, if you want it to be your job, that is another thing. You're spending all your time writing, you're spending all your time illustrating, spending all your time doing the graphics and stuff to get the thing all together, to get it up on Amazon or whatever. And once it's up, as a creator, all you want to do is start writing the next book. And that's when you need to spend a year marketing and doing nothing else. It's a lot of hard work. It's the marketing is the really, really hard thing with self-publishing. And if you're not a marketer, if you're not got those skills, I would say forget it. Unless you just want one copy to hand on to your grandchildren, which is fine. That is a laudable thing to want to do. Sorry, but what point do you decide to replace pads of paper? When it just becomes irritating trying to scrape something out. Technology is wonderful, it certainly is. Trails TM, I'm just worried about the 10,000 hours mantra. If I focus only on children's book illustration, would a few hours of practice a day for a few years be okay? I really don't know. I think it's a kind of a spectrum, that 10,000 hours. I think it depends. You've probably done a lot of art at school, maybe, when you were younger, and you maybe done stuff, which is quite a lot of those hours, which you're not starting at hour zero, are you? And are you wanting to do really, really fine technical stuff, or, can you do something more cartoony, which is a bit easier, but, technically easier, but to do a cartoony thing really well, so that it just looks like that takes a lot of practice. The easier something looks like, the more work has gone into it. Do you ever watch the Great British Baking Show? I haven't recently, because it changed channels and it's kind of not quite the same as it was. I used to love it, and it's different times, and Trails DM, best who replies to that question. Oh, it's difficult to know which question it is. There we go. We're getting towards the end. I think I'm going to ask you to stop, because when I run out of questions, I'm going to stop. Okay. I'm a master with my hands. Did I just type that? Ha, hides under a rock, ha, lol. Message retracted. What did you say? Trails TM, that Stream Deck is awesome. Jokes aside, it's a really useful bit of tech. Yeah, you can add it to other programs as well. Where is the question box for next week? I haven't done that yet. You can put questions and things like that in the comments box below. Tokyo Chat, you are right. Writing and illustrating are different. Thank you for the advice. Yes, they are. Like I'm working on writing and illustrating my own comic. I have always written for myself because I enjoyed it. Short stories, essays, what's going through my brain, etc. Maybe I went to writing instead of drawing because I didn't feel the same level of expectation with writing that I felt for drawing. These are all deep thoughts and deep questions, and I've been talking for an hour and a quarter. And you probably all have homes to go to. I hope you're at home already. It's Friday! Time to get the party going. So I will leave you to do that. And I'm going to press the little button to the outro. If you've got other questions, things for next week, put them in the comments box below. And I'll look forward to seeing you then. I'm going to put a thing up on the community page. So again, make sure that you are subscribed and ring the bell so that you get notifications. And in the meantime, I will leave you with the outro, and I'm going to press the button now. Well, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed that, then please do make sure you are subscribed to the Shu Rayner Drawing channel, and while you're about it, click the little bell next to the subscribe button and you will be notified when the next live drawing video will be. In the meantime, keep drawing, practice, and I'll see you next time. You take care now. Bye-bye. Well, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed that, then please do make sure you are subscribed to the Shu Rayner Drawing channel.